Welcome to Rider Nation Station, presented by American Manufacturing Solutions, your total logistics partner, investing in Rider Nation Station and St. Mary's, Ohio, and to our other fine sponsors.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome once again to the Doug Frye Show. I'm your host, Joe Hurlburt, alongside head coach Doug Frye. As we wrapped up the regular season, Coach, we're now heading into the postseason play. But first of all, congratulations on a big win against Celina last Friday night.
Thanks, Joe. I thought our kids played with a lot of emotion. It was good to see that.
Well, let's take a look at how the Western Buckeye Leg fared as far as the regular season is concerned before we get into talking about the playoff picture. The Van Wert Cougars and the Ottawa Glandorf Titans both finished at the top spot, both 5-1. St. Mary's and Elida finished 4-2. Kenton, Shawnee, and Celina finished the regular season at 3-3. Wapakoneta finished at 2-4. Bath 1-5, and Defiance 0-6. As far as last week's scores, just to bring you up to speed, Van Wert defeated Bath 27-7. Wapakoneta defeated Defiance 28-0. Elida outscored Shawnee 21-16. OG 34. Kenton 27. Of course, big win for the Riders, 49-6 over Celina. And again, Coach, you look at some of these scores and it just, you kind of scratch your head from time to time. It just kind of was one of those years where, you know, the unexpected was not necessarily the expected.
I think when people look back, there's going to be a lot of reasons they're going to scratch their head on this year. And it's been one of those seasons with the COVID and with everything that's went on and with the balance in the league. It's just been one of those years where you don't know what's going to happen. And I assume an exciting year for fans, probably a little more stressful year for coaches.
Yeah, I'm sure as a head coach you would like to see 4 more regular season games on the end of this, see how it all would have shaken out.
Absolutely. That would have been nice.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a break. We're going to talk a little bit about the playoffs. They're right around the corner. We'll do that and more as the Doug Frye Show continues on Rider Nation Station right after this.
American Manufacturing Solutions is proud to invest in St. Mary's and proud to sponsor Rough Rider football. Think AMS, think logistics, done right. AMS is your complete supply chain solutions provider. Have electrical service needs? AMS can take care of that too. Call us at 419-300-1007 or visit us at AmericanMFGSolutions.com.
Coach, the playoffs are upon us. This week you will play the Greenville Green Wave. They will come to Grand Lake Health System Field for the first round of the playoffs. But before we talk about Greenville, let's take a look at about how the Western Buckeye League is shaping up as far as the playoff picture is concerned. As far as regions and divisions are concerned in the Western Buckeye League, this is how they shape out. In Division 3, Region 10, you have Defiance. In Division 3, Region 12, you have St. Mary's, Celina, Elida, Shawnee, and Wapak. And then in Division 4, Region 14 is Kenton and Van Wert. And then in Division 5, Region 18, you have Bath and OG. A lot of these Western Buckeye League teams are playing this week except for 3. Bath, Kenton, and Van Wert both have byes this week. But let's take a look at some of the other matchups. Dayton Carroll will be at Celina. Defiance will be at Bay Village Bay. Monroe will be at Elida. Wapak and Shawnee, they have to play again, so they'll meet. Of course, Greenville at St. Mary's, and on Saturday night, Swanton will be at Bath. As far as the divisions are playing, who plays on Friday and who's playing on Saturdays?
Well, I know we're on Friday, obviously, and I believe it is 4, 5, and 6. Now, don't quote me on that on 6. I just kind of try to take care of our own house as we do things. But, first of all, I root for the Western Buckeye League all the way across to represent our league well. We root for every single team in our league to continue to play for a while. And there's some interesting Week 1 matchups, that's for sure. Our region's kind of different than most of the others because we're pretty packed with Western Buckeye League teams. Right. And for us, we're in the upper part of that bracket, so we are away from the other WBL teams, and the lower part is has a lot of WBL teams fighting to continue to move on.
Well, I think the Rough Riders were seated 8th, I believe, in the region, and so they host the Greenville, and the way things are situated, if it plays out and St. Mary's comes away with a win on Friday, they will also host a second-round game because they are in the higher bracket than the two teams that are playing, which are Vandalia, Butler, and Franklin.
And Joe, that was kind of interesting because as the final computer points came together, we were the 8th team in the region. Mm-hmm. So where the coaches seated us at is exactly where we would have finished at if this had been a normal season. And I looked at that as I went on a couple different sites, and we would have just eased into the playoffs, beating Tippecanoe by 1/100 of a point or by just a small amount of points right there. Under next year's format, which will take 12 teams into the playoffs, we would add a home game again. So we pretty much, I know there's been some complaints and some wondering if the coaches ranked them right. But in our case, we're ranked right where we would have finished. And next year we would have been hosting a home game also on the playoff format.
Absolutely. So that's the way things are shaping up. The Rough Riders had a big win last Friday night at home against the Celina Bulldogs, a game in which they won 49-6. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at a lot of highlights of last week's victory when we come back right after this.
For all your sporting good needs, visit Albert Sporting Goods at 121 West Spring Street, serving the St. Mary's community since 1980.
Auglaze Equipment Rental is your source for all your equipment needs. Whether you're a contractor or a homeowner with a project, we can help get the job done more efficiently. Check us out at 1900 Celina Road or auglazeequipmentrental.com or just call 419-394-7883. Auglaze Equipment Rental.
Welcome back once again to the Doug Frye Show. I'm Joe Hurlburt, along with head coach Doug Frye. You're watching the Doug Frye Show on Rider Nation Station. Coach, a big win is probably, you have to be pleased. I think it's probably the best 4 quarters of football that the Rough Riders have put together all season.
You could see sparks coming along in practice of us starting to gel together. And we not only, everyone had the same COVID situation with the practice limitations and the way things went, but we've been dealing with some injuries to some of our key guys, I'm sure as other people have too, but looking for continuity to get everything to come together. And finally that all clicked for us and things started to come together. And, what a good time to do that. Our hope is that continues through the rest of the way, but things started to click for us a lot better this week.
Well, let's get right to the highlights. This is the opening kickoff, and of course this is just great coverage by special teams to start the ball game.
We get down with some good speed right there, getting downfield, and a number of young kids starting to come on. This is Aiden Eganbrud, who's really improving right now. He's a young man that didn't play football early in his career and has been with us, a first-year starter, makes a great tackle.
And Cooper Jones, who was Mr. Everything for Celina, throwing and running the football, this is just good defensive job of going to the football.
Cooper Jones and Celina, there's a lot of good football players over there and a well-coached football team. So Cooper Jones runs up through there, but our D-line made a nice job there. And I can't say enough, we talk about all these skill guys at different times, but the play of your lines is really what determines your success throughout the season. So good play by our D-line.
And you talk about your offensive backfield, just great consistency all throughout the evening. This clip right here, this is Ethan Wedding. Gets a great second effort and picks up a nice gain.
Yes, and we give the credit to Ethan, but look at the edge.
Yeah.
I mean, the edge is clean, and it's a great double team, and good blocking by Devin Shannon, our tight end, and our pulling guards.
This next clip is Tanner Howe, who, like you said in a previous show, is you call upon him to do something, he's first in line. And right here, he sets up the Riders' first touchdown.
What a coachable kid and what a tough kid. When you combine those two things in a game of football, you've got a football player.
Aiden Hinkle had a nice ball game on the night, 27 carries, 223 yards, 4 touchdowns. He averaged 8.3 yards per rush. That was the touchdown, and this is it from the other side.
If you look at that, boom. And I give credit, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you,
right.
but I give a lot of credit to Aiden Hinkle right there, but Joe Hurlburt and Doug Frye could have ran through that hole right there, and that's saying a lot right there. There was nice blocking up front.
Maybe Doug Frye. I'm not so sure about Joe.
I think Joe could have done it.
This is a ball that was deflected and was almost picked off by Brandon Paul.
It's a nice job here of Trace Mabry getting up there with the leaps right there, getting up and knocking that ball up in the air, and we almost pick it off. We need to come up with that turnover, but great job by Trace.
And this is just a great pursuit on tracking down the quarterback. Another Rough Rider defensive sack.
Yeah, absolutely. Good pressure. I believe that was Gieske coming off the edge right there, and with a nice sack. And Dylan makes a nice play. Him and Patterson are there. Trace Mabry doing a good job. So just another good job by our D-line.
You know, you have to be pleased by the way the defense played all around. They only gave up 129 yards of total offense on a high-powered offense that Celina, under Cooper Jones, not only throws the ball well, but can also run. But you have to be pleased with the way the defense played overall.
I give a lot of credit to our defensive staff. First of all, Coach Ao over there, and he was a coordinator before I came back, and was criticized a little bit for not being that good at what he was doing. And all of a sudden, he's very good at what he's doing. So he's worked extremely hard, and his staff doing a good job, and those kids are playing hard on that side of the ball.
Here's another play offensively. This is just great second effort, and check out the line surge. They just pushing Celina's defensive players back.
Good job by Aiden, and just a good effort by our linemen up front all the way around.
And again, here's another nice run by Aiden Hinkle.
Hinkle gets into another big hole there and does a good job and runs hard, and we create good opening for him there.
I don't know how many times I saw him just lower his shoulder and just Celina defenders just tumbling backwards. He's a strong kid.
He is a strong kid and blessed with some ability, and we hope to keep building on that.
And here's a nice hole that opens wide on the right side, and he just walks in for another Rough Rider score.
Another big hole, and we got linemen coming off the ball and pad level down and running hard. So good things happen when you do those things.
This next play is another nice job getting to Jones.
Excellent job. Good sack right there. One of our outside backers. I think that's Fraley coming off the edge, Hunter Fraley right there. And good fundamental football. He's coached by Coach Naus on the outside, and I'm blessed with a good coaching staff here, and they do a great job, and a good play by Hunter.
Offensively, again, this is a nice run by Dylan Troglin.
Yes, Dylan's really been a playmaker for us. And look at the blocking at the point of attack again. There's a clean edge, almost keeps his feet in bounds and goes up that sideline there.
And this here's this is what surprised, not necessarily surprised me, but on the next play is a Rough Rider touchdown. It's a 4-yard quarterback sneak, which tells me your offensive line is blowing people off the line of scrimmage.
Chase Jacobs is our center. Ryan Davis, and Stosh Patterson, 3 juniors in the middle, and then 2 senior tackles on the outside, getting a nice surge, and that's a lot of sled work with our offensive line coaches.
This next play, Brandon Paul knocks down the football. He's been playing well at linebacker.
Brandon Paul does a nice job. Such a coachable, smart young man, and does the little things well. So nice play by Brandon.
This is a nice interception here by Hunter Fraley. Does a good job.
Actually, Aiden Eganbrud right there,
was
Joe.
It? Okay.
Yeah, so Fraley was on that edge, but Eganbrud again. It makes your job so much easier and so much more pleasant when you got kids that are coachable.
Yeah.
And he's a young man that just listens and buys into everything you have to say.
Just like that, he knew, he just jumped the route, and it was a nice.
That's
nice
called coachability right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Aiden Hinkle touchdown run, 30 yards. Just follows his blockers extremely well.
Yeah, he does a great job. It's well blocked at the point of attack, finishes the run. And the guy doesn't get enough credit in this ball game because people look at the quarterback all the time and see how many times he's thrown it. But the way Gavin Reineke engineered this attack, I thought was just super all night. Great composure and did the little things well. So Gavin gets a lot of credit for what's going on here.
This is a screenplay that we haven't really seen too much this year, but I thought it was nicely set up. You got blockers out front, and
it's well done. I would like to finish that just a little bit better. We have some guys kind of slip off a little bit, but it was well set up.
And here is just another great job by the Rough Rider defense, who played well against the run all night.
Absolutely. They end up, I think, converting that one, but it's a good play down the line. It makes Celina bounce to the outside.
And again, this is just nice pressure again by the Rough Rider defense.
The mix of pressure schemes and non-pressure schemes gave Celina some fits. So nice job by the outside backers, Fraley and Paul coming off the edges.
This is a nice run by Ethan Wedding. Result, Rough Rider touchdown.
Nice hole, nice cut, just all well done in the seam. And look up in front right there. There's two linemen from the front and back side, Devin Shannon and Brian Ward in front of that play. That's what I'd like to see.
And this is just a great defensive pass coverage here on a pass from Cooper Jones.
That's Aiden Eganbrud again, first-year starter at the corner. That's a great form tackle, too, by the way.
And this here is another Aiden Hinkle touchdown. Of course, as I mentioned, he scored 4 times in the ball game.
Right. Now, you play fullback in this offense, you're going to see the rock a little bit. And there's a nice cut right there, a good push at the point of attack.
Our next clip, right now we're starting to get some of the younger kids into the ball game. Always nice to get young kids some experience under the lights on Friday night.
Jace Schaefer with a good run. I gave him a little bit of a guff on that one right there because I asked him how he got tackled down there. He just laughed about it. But good turn up and a run. Jace Schaefer, sophomore there. We have Fraley in at the tackle here. We got Keegan Sharp, or at the fullback, we got Keegan Sharp, the left halfback, and Jace Schaefer at the right halfback. And so some good young guys coming in, getting some action. Logan Nals, I think, is in there, a senior offensive guard here, coming into the ball game. Corey Sullivan at the other guard. So guys getting some action.
And I think this next play is right after the one we just saw, results in a touchdown.
Right. It's always good to be able to get the kids in. Adam Turner out there at the split. Turner comes and does a great job every day. And you love seeing those kids that just want to be part of the program. And this is a complete young group of kids that are in here, along mixed with some seniors that don't see a lot of time. They play on scout teams and don't get enough credit. Those guys are extremely important to our program.
And this here, I think, is the last play of the ball game. Defensive stop to cap it off.
Absolutely. Another great job by the D-line up front, and a couple young kids, a couple seniors in there doing a great job.
Well, again, a big win, 4 quarters of football that you put together, 49-6, the end result, peaking at the right time.
Well, we hope. We'll find out. We'll find out Friday night if that was just a one-game wonder or if we can maintain that. And I really have felt our kids getting better the whole way. We hadn't been able to carry that all the time into the ball games, and hopefully we are peaking. Sure.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to take a quick look at this week's playoff opponent, the Greenville Green Wave, as they come to St. Mary's to take on the Rough Riders. We'll do that and more as the Doug Frye Show continues on Rider Nation Station right after this.
Miller Funeral Home has been serving the Rough Rider community in its time of need since the 70s. Our business is a family affair, dedicated to serving families with integrity, dignity, and compassion. Miller Funeral Home, proud to be a supporter of the Rough Rider community.
Welcome back to the Doug Frye Show. Joe Hurlburt alongside head coach Doug Frye, and Coach Greenville comes in. First round of the 2020 playoff season. They come out of the Miami Valley League. They finished the season 0-6. Brad Smits is their head coach. And when you look at the teams that they played teams such as Sidney, Tip, Piqua, Vandalia Butler, and Troy. So they've had some pretty tough opponents.
They play a tough leg schedule, and they're in the MVL now, split up from the GWalk as it split apart. And their schedule was very taxing and very tough, and they've got some newbies in the lineup, some new starters in there, and at times they've looked very good, and times they've struggled a little bit more. So we're going to have to come out of the locker room ready to play.
Yeah, their first 3 ball games they were shut out. First four games they were shut out. They finally were able to put points on the board against Vandalia Butler in a game they lost 17-6, and then they lost to Troy in the season finale last week, 42-6. So they've really struggled offensively, putting points on the board. They've only scored 12 points all year. So how do you, as a head coach, prepare your kids mentally not to look at that number and say, this could be an easy one for us? But on any given night, anybody can beat anybody. And we've seen that throughout the course of the Western Buckeye League season.
Absolutely, we have. And I think that's probably the most difficult thing as a coach. And today, in today's world, kids have such access to information. So they can get on the computer, get on the internet, and figure that information out. So, like every week, we do our best to take care of ourselves is what we do. And, I've shown the kids where we were at on one side of the coin, the other side of the coin. Hopefully we like that other side of the coin that we got to last week.
Absolutely.
We decided that's the way we want to play the rest of the way. And it's now sudden death because when it ends, it ends. And, we have an opportunity to get another home game here. So first ever playoff game in our new stadium. So that in itself is very unique.
So let me ask you this. Is there any difference as far as obtaining tickets for the playoff games, or is it going to be pretty much the same as it was during the regular season?
Pretty much the same, but I'm still trying to figure out the whole process, frankly. But actually it's going to be pretty much the same, but a little tougher in the regard to the way you get them. You don't show up at the school to buy the ticket. It's a code that you get on the voucher, and you got to get online and buy the ticket online is what you have to do, Joe. And basically you have two options with that ticket. Either print it out or put it on your phone. The issue is if you put it on your phone, it's your ticket. I mean, it can't be given to anybody else at that juncture of things. So probably the toughest thing for me as we sit here on Wednesday is I get 60 of those vouchers for the 60-man roster. So I did not pass the vouchers out. I'm going to do that tonight at practice. Okay, the kids have till noon on Friday to buy a ticket. I had to make sure who was going to be on that 60-man roster because we've had a few kids dinged up here and there that won't be. I moved some other kids on the roster. But that's it. And, as people sit out there, sometimes my phone gets lit up. Hey, Coach, can I get a ticket? I have to buy 2 tickets like everybody else. They're $12 a piece. I get a voucher for 2 tickets. Of course, I don't use any of those. They let me in free. I guess that's one benefit of being the coach. But my wife does, and I get those 2 tickets, and that's all I get for the ball game. So we certainly would wish and hope that it was more than that, because I know some families are in situations where there is a split family or there's grandparents that are unable to come. So we wish that, but we have no control over that.
Well, I have a solution for those people that cannot get tickets. You can watch it right here on Rider Nation Station live. We'll be bringing it to you from Grand Lake Health System Field Friday night. We'll be on the air about 6:50 with a little bit of the pregame show, but you can join us live, and we've had great following throughout the course of the season as far as people watching it live. But you talked a little bit about the 60-man roster. That was implemented at the beginning of the season, part of the COVID rules, but that changes from week to week.
It changes from day to day.
Yeah.
And day to day, I had the roster set last night. I got a couple young guys that minor injuries here and there, but they won't really be dressing this Friday. So you want 60 kids that are healthy and ready to play. So the fortunate thing for us is we're at about 85 kids. So I kind of have a pecking order, I guess, or a depth list of freshmen that are able to fill into those spots. So, a kid gets dinged up and another freshman gets an opportunity to dress with us at that point. So it really isn't a choice. It's just the kids we've seen that maybe fill in from the freshman group and give us more depth at a position or performing a little bit better in practice.
Sure, absolutely. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to wrap things up on this edition of the Doug Frye Show right after this.
Auglaize Equipment Rental is your source for all your equipment needs. Whether you're a contractor or a homeowner with a project, we can help get the job done more efficiently. Check us out at 1900 Celina Road or auglaizeequipmentrental.com or just call 419-394-7883. Auglaize Equipment Rental. American Manufacturing Solutions is proud to invest in St. Mary's and proud to sponsor Rough Rider football. Think AMS, think logistics, done right. AMS is your complete supply chain solutions provider. Have electrical service needs? AMS can take care of that too. Call us at 419-300-1007 or visit us at AmericanMFGSolutions.com. Miller Funeral Home has been serving the Rough Rider community in its time of need since the 70s. Our business is a family affair, dedicated to serving families with integrity, dignity, and compassion. Miller Funeral Home, proud to be a supporter of the Rough Rider community.
Coach, I'll tell you what, hopefully momentum is on the roll, is on the side of the Riders, and hopefully we can put 4 quarters together like we did last week against Celina.
Well, we're trying to make that a habit now.
Absolutely.
That's what we're trying to do. Our intentions are to try to make that a habit. We understand that things won't always be perfect. There's ups and downs, and you got to respond to that in a ball game. And so we're continuing to try to do that, and hopefully it continues.
Well, we wish you the best of luck this Friday night on our first playoff game at the new stadium.
Thank you, Joe.
That's going to do it for this edition of the Doug Frye Show. We want to remind you once again to join Zach Farrell and Mark Sisko for Rules of the Game, which airs about an hour before the kickoff on Rider Nation Station. And then join us live at about 6:50 on Friday as we bring you the game between the St. Mary's Rough Riders and the Greenville Green Wave. For head coach Doug Frye, I'm Joe Hurlburt. Until next time, so long, everyone.
Thanks for watching another episode of Rider Nation Station. Help us help you by subscribing on YouTube or following us on Facebook.